Hello everyone and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I am CA Pratiksha Pai. I get a lot of messages and comments asking to do a personal finance course. So I thought let's do a video series on personal finance. But before we even start with the proper video series and start about each type of instruments, I want to first make this video, which will be very important and will include the basics of personal finance. Before we talk about say insurance or emergency funds or mutual funds, investments, tax saving investments, equities, options, whatever that is. But first we need to know what to do with the existing investments, how to communicate it with our family, how to see that our family has access to it in a case of need, because we all do these investments but we don't maintain it properly. So this is a very important video wherein we will be talking certain basic tips. I can say I don't like really the word tip, but yeah, for a lack of some other good word, maybe we can call it the basic tips or the basic hacks or the basic rules of personal finance. So here we go. I will be talking about 5 basic aspects that each one of you, whether salaried or in business or startups or whatever, you need to follow. These 5 basic rules in respect I feel are very important. So please watch this video till the end, and if you like it, you can share it with your friends and also subscribe to this channel and also like the video. Okay, so let's start. First is the awareness. In my practice, I've seen this with a lot of women. They may be earning in lakhs or crores, but when I ask them about what about your investments, they say that yes, we've done a lot of investments, tax savers, insurance, this, that, but I'm not aware. My hubby has done it for me, my husband does it for me, my professional, whoever, the tax consultant or chartered accountant or some other expert does it for me, and I'm not aware. See, this could be in a very proper and good sense that a spouse is doing your investments, but still you need to be aware of what are your investments. In the same way, awareness also includes being aware of what your spouse's investments are. So when it is a husband-wife scenario, you should be first aware of your own investments, finances, where you've parked your funds, as well as you should be aware of where what are the investments of your spouse, where he or she has parked their funds. Basically, not just women, even where one of the spouse is a finance professional, the other spouse generally may not be aware of the various investments done in their own name. So yes, the first basic rule is awareness. Again, if it is not a husband-wife scenario, if you stay with your parents, then of course you should be aware of your parents' investments, as well as vice versa. Parents or siblings should be aware of your investments. Why this becomes very important is because there could be some situation, some scenario where suddenly you may not be in a position to retrieve or access certain funds or investments, but someone very close, near and dear to you might be in a position to retrieve these funds for you. But if they are not aware of what your investments are, where you've parked your funds, then it becomes an issue. So make sure that other than you, at least one other person who is a close family member whom you can trust. In case of spouses, it could be the other spouse, otherwise it could be parents or siblings who need to know what are your investments, and vice versa. Especially in a family setup, you should be aware of your spouse's investments, bare minimum, and you should be knowing about your parents or your siblings' investments if they want to share it with you. You may feel that awareness of one's investments is such a silly basic thing, but if it was that basic and that silly, we wouldn't have so many unclaimed deposits and a lot of us doing shorts and reels saying that there are so many unclaimed deposits and there is these steps you can follow to see if your grandparents or parents have some deposits which is unknown to you. So this is really a big issue. So please see to it that at least once a month or once a year at least, you sit down with your family members, with your spouse or parents or siblings or whoever it is, and discuss the finances. Because I also see that it's so much of a taboo and stigma to even talk to parents about finances sometimes. But somewhere we need to snap out of it and have proper open communication with our near and dear ones and be aware of their investments as well as make them aware of our investments. And now the second basic point, which is access. You may be aware of someone's investments and funds, but if you don't have the access to it, or if you don't in today's world have credentials to access it, then it's of no use. Same with your own. Many people would be knowing that I have investments in NPS or some other shares and equities and whatever, but if you don't know your own credentials, there are some people who don't even know their own online banking credentials. Please don't do this mistake, because you could be in a situation where you need immediate funds. You may have your smartphone with you, but you do not have an access, and then you'll have to, run around, ask people, call the relevant people and ask for your credentials. So having proper access is a must. Now again, I would like to tell here, not only access to your own investments, but also you should know the credentials of the investments of your maybe spouse or parents or siblings, wherever the synergies work. Okay, so how to have access? I put this into three layers. First is somewhere between the spouses or with parents. You can just have a Word doc or an Excel sheet or whatever suits you, with appropriate all the credentials of each investments, and the credentials and the passwords, I mean the usernames and the passwords, and the appropriate credentials to access each kind of investments. Again, don't have this Excel sheets on your mobile phones or your tablets or laptops, because you may leave it somewhere, it may get stolen, it may get lost or whatever, and someone else could be reading this data. You can have it probably on your desktop, and again, this Excel sheet can be password protected, so you don't have to remember all the passwords. You and your spouse or your parents need to just know the password of this one Excel sheet. Again, between spouses, I would like to say, the next thing what I would like to say is, between spouses you can have a separate email ID, where any emails that we receive in relation to any of our investments, like you paid an insurance premium, you maintained a fixed deposit, you paid an NPS, you paid some other investments or any other insurances or whatever, you get emails, and you just forward all these emails to a separate email ID, and the password is known only to you and your spouse. Now tomorrow when your children grow up, if you want to tell your children about all your investment history, you don't have to sit and talk to them in a very elaborate manner and show them papers. Just give them the password of this email, and they can go through your entire investment history. And again, maybe when your kids turn 18 or at whatever appropriate age you feel it is right for your kids to know about your investment history, you can just give them the password of this very separate email. It will not have your personal emails, but only your investment emails at one place, date wise. The next within this same access is, if you don't trust your kids, if you don't trust an Excel sheet, you don't trust anyone in any manner to give access or credentials to your investments and to your funds, then of course you can do a will. You can register a will wherein all your investments will be laid bare, and you can let it be known who gets the succession rights. So that is the last stage. If you don't trust anyone, at least have a will wherein all your investments are put in a very elaborate manner, so that today whatever you have invested, whatever you accumulate, does not end up as some unclaimed deposit tomorrow. And whatever again you invest or do it, it's generally for your family, right? So there's no point in it being lying somewhere as an unclaimed deposit. So if you can't put it in an Excel sheet, if you can't put it in an email, at least put it in your will. Point number 3 is nomination. Always have appropriate nominations in all of your investments, may it be big or small. Nomination does not mean succession or inheritance. Nomination only means access again to whatever your investments or your other funds, and it only means an access, but the inheritance of your investments or your funds will go as per the succession rules. So please always have nominees to all sorts of investments. Again, we are seeing that many in the mutual fund category also, the nominations are not made, and then the government has to get out rules that please do nominations. So please do it by yourself. It's very important. And this is the third point, which is nominations. Then we come to the fourth point, which is pledging and mortgaging. See, we all do so many investments, so much of our funds are being parked. We do all the financial discipline all our lives in order to do investments and build a good diversified portfolio. But in case of any need, what do we end up doing? We end up diluting these investments. Maybe you sell your mutual funds or break your FDs, or you sell your shares, all sort of those things. Please understand, a majority of your investments are pledgeable. What is pledgeable? You can pledge these investments and get a loan against it. Classic case, we all know about loans against FD, loans against gold. I understand there's a stigma related to loan against gold, so let's keep that out. But again, there is loan against SGBs, online gold. There is loans against REITs, loans against mutual funds, loans against your shares. Literally everything that you invested in can be pledgeable, including your PPF balances. So always remember, in a case of need, pledge your investments. Okay, let's take a classic case of shares. When you pledge your shares, any dividend earned is yours, any capital appreciation is yours, any split, bonus, all that shares is yours. Only thing is that the shares are pledged and you have to service the interest every month and look at repaying the loan. However, if you had sold those shares and utilized that money for whatever the requirement was, then you would never get any dividend nor any capital appreciation. You would have sold at most probably a lesser value, and then you will see the value of the shares increasing, and it is easier to repay a loan than again rebuild a portfolio. So check which of your investments are pledgeable or mortgageable, and always make it a note that in case of an emergency, which of your investments you can pledge at a very fast pace and get money, and then later on at a very easier pace you can repay that loan. In the same thing, going one step ahead, I would also like to say that in case of your shares or mutual funds, you can purchase and already pledge it and take an overdraft against it and keep. I'm not telling you to utilize that overdraft, but you can take this facility and keep it ready made, that in case there is any requirement, you will immediately utilize it. So you can already in advance pledge it and take up an overdraft facility and maintain it. The only thing you may have to do is pay a bit of interest here and there every month, but you can tell that I'll not use it unless there is a real requirement, and when the real requirement rises, then you can take it out from your OD, from the shares or mutual funds or whatever other investments you would have pledged. And finally, we come to the fifth point, which is SEBI registered investment advisor. See, in a lot of my reels and shorts, I get comments asking stock recommendations. Please realize this: no financial expert or chartered accountant can just like that give stock recommendations. Only a SEBI registered investment advisor can give you stock recommendations. So basically, a person who has written all the relevant exams and cleared it and got the license and is called as a SEBI registered investment advisor can give you stock recommendations. Even if I'm a chartered accountant, but if I'm not a SEBI registered investment advisor, I cannot give you stock recommendations. Now, why am I telling this point? Because we see that a lot of frauds are happening where people are telling that they'll give you stock recommendations and then you can invest, and being gullible, because we all want our money to grow. So being gullible, you may go ahead and invest in whatever recommendations they give, but they may not be SEBI registered investment advisors. So when someone gives you stock recommendations and asks you to purchase or sell certain stocks, be sure to ask them whether they are SEBI registered investment advisors and whether they have a license number provided by the SEBI. Okay, and do not fall trap to frauds where people ask you to join their Telegram groups and they'll say that we'll give stock calls every day and all that thing. Be sure you take stock recommendations only from a SEBI registered investment advisor, or of course you can watch other influencers videos and you can take learnings from that and make your own decisions. But if someone is directly giving you some stock recommendations, then you need to see whether they are SEBI RIA, and if yes, only then you can go ahead and again use your own brains. Just because a SEBI RIA tells, it is not necessary that you need to jump and purchase that recommendation or sell a recommendation. You should of course utilize your own mind. If you are qualified enough to earn in a good manner and to be aware that you need to invest your money into the financial markets, then you can also be qualified enough to utilize a bit of your own brains, even if some other human being who may even be a SEBI RIA who is giving you a stock recommendations, and you should be smart enough to see what to follow, how much to follow. So never jump at any recommendations, and see to it that you get recommendations only from a SEBI RIA. And even if you get recommendations from a SEBI RIA, it doesn't mean you need to definitely go and purchase that recommendation. Please utilize your own smartness, and this is why financial literacy becomes important. But it is not a huge astrophysics or some big deal to just look at financials of the past few years and check if the revenue, the profits are going up or down, or how much loans has the company taken, or how is the EBITDA of the company going up or down, or what is it, and is the company looking to put up new new products, or expand into new cities, etc. These small things you can do. Is the company an FMCG? Are people going to utilize the services or products of this company? Is it relevant? All these things require just a bit of smartness and usage of brain on your side as well. So please do that, and only then go and purchase any equity shares or mutual funds or any investments for that matter. I hope these 5 would be good points, actionable points for you till we come up with the next video on the personal finance series. So be sure to be aware of your, as well as your spouses or your parents or siblings' investment, whatever the case may be. Talk to them and be aware of their investments as well. Have access to each other's investments, especially in a spouse scenario. Be sure to have nominations in all your investments, and again, know that a majority of your investments are pledgeable and mortgageable. So sit down and see which of your investments are pledgeable and which you would like to pledge in case of a need, and even make your family aware of that. And lastly, please take stock recommendations only from SEBI RIAs, that is SEBI registered investment advisors, and don't fall trap to any frauds. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel. That will motivate me to do more videos for you all. And this is CA Pratiksha Pai. Thank you.